Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have a story for you today that I'm still trying to process myself. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences that changes how you see the world. It all started on what I thought would be a completely normal solo camping trip deep in the Redwood National Park. I'd been out there for about 2 days, just soaking in the silence and the majesty of those ancient trees. On the third night, something woke me up. It wasn't a loud noise, but a soft, persistent sound that just didn't belong. At first, I thought it was an animal, maybe a fawn separated from its mother. It was a whimpering, almost like a baby crying. I grabbed my flashlight and cautiously unzipped my tent. The sound was coming from a small clearing just beyond my campsite. My heart was pounding, but curiosity got the better of me. As I got closer, the beam of my flashlight landed on a small figure huddled at the base of a massive redwood tree. My brain couldn't make sense of what I was seeing. It looked almost human, but it was covered in shaggy, dark brown fur. It was small, maybe the size of a toddler, with large, dark eyes that were filled with tears. It was a baby Bigfoot. I know how insane that sounds. My first instinct was pure shock, a mix of fear and utter disbelief. I froze, just watching it. The little creature was shivering, and its cries were heartbreaking. It looked so lost and so scared. Every rational thought in my head was screaming at me to back away slowly, get to my car, and leave. But I couldn't. Looking into those terrified eyes, all I saw was a frightened child, alone in the dark. The fear I felt started to melt away, replaced by this overwhelming sense of compassion. It was a feeling I couldn't ignore. I took a deep, shaky breath and slowly knelt down, keeping a safe distance. I started talking to it in a soft, gentle voice, the same way you'd talk to a scared puppy or a crying kid. "Hey there, little one," I whispered. "It's okay. You're okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The little creature stopped crying for a moment and just looked at me, its head tilted. It was still wary, but it seemed to be listening. I slowly reached into my pack and pulled out an apple. I held it out on my open palm and placed it on the ground between us, then scooted back to give it space. It watched the apple, then me, then the apple again. After a long moment, it cautiously crawled forward, snatched the apple, and scurried back to the safety of the tree. It started nibbling on it, its little whimpers quieting down. Seeing it eat, I felt a wave of relief. I decided to sit there with it for a while. I didn't want to leave it alone while it was so distressed. I just sat on the cold ground, talking quietly about nothing in particular: the stars, the trees, the sound of the wind. I didn't get any closer, just provided a calm, steady presence. Eventually, its little eyes started to droop, and it curled up into a tight ball, falling asleep. I couldn't believe it. I was babysitting a baby Sasquatch. I stayed awake for most of the night, keeping watch. I couldn't bring myself to go back to my tent. What if another animal came by? What if it woke up and was scared again? As the first light of dawn started to filter through the canopy, I heard a new sound. It was a low, resonant koala deep, booming whoop that echoed through the forest. It wasn't aggressive, but it was powerful. The little creature next to me stirred immediately. Its eyes shot open, and it let out a series of excited chirping squeaks in response. And then I saw her. Stepping out from behind a thicket of ferns was a massive figure. It had to be at least 8 feet tall, covered in the same dark fur, with long arms and a powerful build. It was the mother. My blood ran cold. I was absolutely petrified. This was it. I'd overstepped, but the mother wasn't looking at me. Her gaze was fixed entirely on her baby. The little one scrambled to its feet and ran straight to her, wrapping its arms around her leg. The mother gently lowered a huge hand and stroked its head. It was a moment of such pure, tender love. Then she turned her head and looked directly at me. Her eyes weren't angry or threatening. They were intelligent. They were ancient. She held my gaze for what felt like an eternity. And in that moment, I felt this profound sense of understanding pass between us. It wasn't with words, but it was as clear as any language. It was gratitude. She knew I had helped her child. She gave a slow, deliberate nod, a gesture of acknowledgement, of thanks. Then she scooped up her baby, turned, and in just a few silent strides, they vanished back into the impenetrable forest, as if they were never there at all. I just sat there, completely stunned, as the sun came up. The only evidence that any of it had happened was the half-eaten apple core lying on the ground. I know many of you will be skeptical, and honestly, I don't blame you. If I hadn't lived it, I wouldn't believe it either. But that encounter changed something in me. It showed me that the world is so much bigger, so much more mysterious and beautiful than we can possibly imagine. It taught me that compassion is a universal language, understood by all living things, no matter how different they may seem. The greatest mysteries aren't always meant to be solved, but sometimes, if you're lucky, they're meant to be experienced. And what I experienced was truly beautiful. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I had to share it with someone. What do you think? Have you ever had an experience that you just couldn't explain? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more adventures. It really helps me out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.